Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're tackling financial literacy for kids, helping them build a solid foundation for their financial futures.
Right.
And I've been looking over the material you sent titled Financial Literacy for Kids, Building a Foundation for a Secure Future. And it's pretty amazing just how much practical stuff is packed in here.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, who knew that you could actually get kids excited about saving by teaching them about compound interest? Or that playing games like Monopoly could be a sneaky way to teach budgeting skills?
Well, it's all about making it fun and relatable, right?
Exactly. And that's what we're going to dig into today.
Yeah.
So first things first, why is this even important?
Okay, so let's talk about the why.
Like, why should we even bother with all this financial stuff for kids?
Well, think of it this way.
Yeah.
We want our kids to grow up to be confident and independent adults, right?
Of course.
And that includes being financially savvy. It's about giving them the tools to manage their money, make smart decisions, and ultimately avoid a lot of the financial stress that so many adults face.
And the thing is, the source material really emphasizes that it's not just about avoiding debt or whatever. It's about,
It's about so much more than that.
like reduced financial stress, like you said.
Exactly.
But also better decision-making, even stronger family relationships.
Yeah, there's a ripple effect for sure.
It's pretty amazing. Okay, so let's break down some of these key concepts that the deep dive explores.
Okay, sounds good.
One of the first things that really stood out to me was the idea of teaching kids about the value of money. But, it's not just about...
Right. It's not just about knowing the difference between a dollar and the dime.
Yeah.
It's about understanding that money is a limited resource.
Yeah.
Something you earn through effort and use to acquire things you need and want.
Right. And I love how the source uses that analogy of money being like tokens in a video game.
That's a great one.
Yeah. Because it's like you have a limited amount that you have to use strategically.
Exactly.
Which is so true in real life, too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how do we actually teach them to manage this limited resource? I mean, piggy banks are cute and all.
Right.
But is there more to it?
Well, the source suggests introducing kids to the concept of budgeting early on.
Okay.
Even something as simple as dividing their allowance into separate jars.
Oh.
For spending, saving, and even giving can be incredibly powerful.
I like that.
It helps them visualize how money can be allocated for different purposes.
It makes it tangible.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so speaking of saving, the source material really emphasizes the importance of saving for goals and teaching kids about delayed gratification.
That's a big one.
That whole concept of waiting for something you really want.
Delayed gratification,
Yeah.
It's crucial.
And the source actually gives this great example of a child saving up for a specific toy or experience. And instead of immediately spending their allowance, they're actually learning to exercise patience and make choices that align with their long-term desires.
And those are such valuable life skills in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just with finances.
Yeah.
It's about setting goals, working towards them, and understanding that good things take time.
Right. It's like planting the seed for bigger financial decisions they'll make later in life.
Exactly.
Like saving for college or a down payment on a house.
Right, those big long-term goals.
Yeah, but how do we explain these long-term goals to kids who,
who may not have that concept of time that we do as adults?
Like a 10-year-old's concept of time is very different from ours.
Absolutely.
So how do we...
Well, that's where the magic of compound interest comes in.
Okay, compound interest.
And the source really goes into detail about how even small savings can grow significantly over time. Like there's this compelling example in there. If your child saves just $10 a month, starting at age 8, thanks to compound interest, they could have over $10,000 by the time they turn 18.
Right.
It's incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But honestly, compound interest can be a pretty complex concept to explain, even for adults sometimes.
I know, right?
So how do we break it down for kids in a way that's engaging and easy to understand?
Well, one approach the source suggests is using visuals. Like imagine showing them a chart or a graph that illustrates how their savings can grow over time.
I see.
You could even make it a fun activity by creating a savings tracker together.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or they can visually see their progress.
Make it tangible again.
Right, exactly.
So we've talked about the value of money, budgeting, saving for goals. But what about other aspects of financial literacy? I mean, there's a whole world out there beyond piggy banks and allowance jars, right?
Absolutely. And the source material also delves into the importance of introducing kids to different investment vehicles. And you don't have to go full on Wall Street with them, but you can start with basic concepts like the difference between a savings account and a stock.
Okay, so like a savings account versus a stock.
Yeah. You could explain how a savings account is like a safe place to park their money, where it earns a little bit of interest,
Okay.
while a stock is like owning a tiny piece of a company that can potentially grow in value.
Well, that's a good way to put it, like introducing them to the idea of risk versus reward,
Exactly.
which is a fundamental concept in investing.
Absolutely.
But let's be real. Teaching kids about finances can sometimes feel like pulling teeth. So how do we make it engaging and fun for them?
Well, the source material offers some really creative strategies. And one that really stood out to me was leveraging everyday experiences.
Okay, everyday experiences.
Yeah, like think about it. Every trip to the grocery store, every family vacation, even deciding what to order for takeout can become a financial literacy lesson in disguise.
Oh, I love that. So instead of just handing them a list and telling them to grab the items,
Right.
we can actually involve them in comparing prices,
Exactly.
making choices within a budget,
Yeah.
and understanding the trade-offs involved.
Yeah. And the source emphasizes that involving kids in these everyday decisions not only teaches them about money, but also helps them feel empowered and responsible.
That's really cool. Okay, so what about games and activities?
Well, games offer a fantastic opportunity to simulate real-world financial scenarios in a safe and engaging environment. The source specifically mentions Monopoly,
Monopoly. Oh, yeah.
which is a classic for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
It teaches kids about buying property, managing cash flow, even dealing with unexpected expenses.
But Monopoly can get a little cutthroat. Is there a risk of sending the wrong message about money? You know, like it's all about winning and accumulating wealth.
That's a valid concern, and it's important to balance the competitive aspect of games with conversations about responsible financial behavior.
Right.
Remind them that real-life financial success isn't just about beating the other players.
Yeah.
It's about making smart choices, planning for the future, and using money as a tool to achieve their goals.
Right. So speaking of goals, the source material highlights the importance of setting financial goals together as a family. It's not just about telling kids what to do, but rather involving them in the process.
Absolutely. When kids are part of the decision-making process, they're more likely to be invested in the outcome.
Yeah, makes sense.
The source suggests having regular family meetings to discuss financial goals, whether it's saving for a family vacation, contributing to a charity, or even planning for their future education.
I like that. And it's not just about setting the goals, right?
Right.
It's also about celebrating the wins, no matter how small they may seem.
Absolutely. Recognizing and celebrating their achievements, even if it's just saving a few dollars toward their goal, reinforces positive financial habits and keeps them motivated.
Right.
The source even suggests creating a financial success jar where you can drop in notes acknowledging their efforts.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so that ties in nicely with another important point the source brings up. The power of modeling good financial habits ourselves.
Our actions speak louder than words.
Right. We can talk the talk all we want, but our kids are always watching.
They are. If we're constantly stressed about money making impulsive purchases or avoiding financial conversations altogether, our kids are going to pick up on those cues.
It's true. So it's not just about lecturing them about saving and budgeting.
Right.
It's about demonstrating those behaviors in our own lives.
Leading by example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Talking about money can be awkward.
It can be, even for adults.
Yeah.
So how do we break down those barriers
Yeah.
and make financial conversations more comfortable for everyone?
Well, the source suggests starting small, you know?
It doesn't have to be a formal sit-down discussion.
Yeah, you can weave financial concepts into everyday conversations.
Right, like explaining why you're choosing a generic brand over a name brand at the grocery store, or why you're packing lunch instead of eating out.
Oh, that makes sense. It normalizes conversations about money,
Exactly.
and it takes the pressure off. And it also ties back to that idea of leveraging everyday experiences to teach financial lessons.
Right, full circle.
Yeah. But sometimes it's hard to know where to start, especially with younger kids. So what are some age-appropriate ways to introduce these concepts?
Well, the source offers a great framework for approaching financial literacy based on different age groups.
Okay.
For preschoolers, it's all about laying the foundation with basic concepts like needs versus wants,
Okay.
the idea of earning money through work, and the concept of saving. You can use simple tools like piggy banks and reward charts to reinforce these lessons.
I love that. It's never too early to start planting those seeds
Never too early.
of financial literacy. And as they get older, we can gradually introduce more complex concepts, right?
Exactly. For elementary school kids, you can start talking about budgeting, setting financial goals, and even introduce the concept of donating to charity. You can involve them in creating a simple budget for their allowance or saving for a special toy they want.
So it's all about meeting them where they are developmentally.
Right.
And making it relevant to their lives.
Yeah.
And as they get into middle and high school, we can start having more in-depth conversations about investing credit cards, student loans, and other real-world financial challenges they'll be facing soon.
You're absolutely right. Those teenage years are crucial for solidifying good financial habits and preparing them for the responsibilities that come with adulthood.
Right.
But even beyond the practical skills, financial literacy can have a profound impact on their overall well-being.
You mean beyond just knowing how to balance a checkbook or invest in the stock market?
Exactly. The source material emphasizes that financial literacy can boost confidence, reduce stress, and foster a sense of independence. When kids feel empowered to manage their finances, they're less likely to experience financial anxiety or make impulsive decisions that could lead to debt or other financial problems.
It's like giving them a financial safety net for life.
Absolutely. And the source also highlights the connection between financial literacy and stronger family relationships.
Oh, yeah, that was a really interesting point.
It makes sense when you think about it. Open communication about finances can foster trust and understanding within families. It can also prevent conflicts and resentment that can arise from financial misunderstandings or secrecy.
So it's not just about teaching our kids how to manage money. It's about creating a healthy financial culture within our families.
Exactly.
And that's a pretty powerful legacy to leave behind.
It really is. Financial literacy is an investment in our children's future, both financially and emotionally.
Absolutely. It sounds like we've covered a lot of ground today, from the basics of budgeting to the power of compound interest. Is there anything else in the source material that really jumped out at you?
One thing that I think is worth highlighting is the source's emphasis on teaching kids about financial responsibility in a broader context. It's not just about managing their own money, but also understanding how their financial choices can impact others and the world around them.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not just about personal finance, but also about ethical finance and social responsibility.
Exactly. The source suggests talking to kids about things like ethical consumption, supporting local businesses, and even considering the environmental impact of their financial choices.
Oh, I like that. It's about raising financially savvy kids who are also compassionate and responsible citizens.
Yeah.
It's about equipping them to make informed decisions that align with their values.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the source also encourages parents to talk to their kids about the importance of giving back to their communities, whether it's through volunteering their time or donating to causes they care about.
Yeah, it's about teaching them that money can be a tool for positive change, not just for personal gain.
Right.
It's about instilling a sense of purpose and meaning beyond just dollars and cents.
Absolutely. And, it's never too early to start these conversations. Even young children can grasp the concept of helping others and making a difference in the world.
That's so true. It's about planting those seeds of empathy and social responsibility early on. It's about raising a generation of financially empowered kids who are also thoughtful and engaged members of their communities.
Well said. And I think that the source material does a fantastic job of providing parents with the tools and resources they need to have these important conversations with their kids.
I agree. It's been a really insightful deep dive so far. What stands out to you as the most actionable takeaway? Something our listener can implement right away.
I think the simplest yet most powerful takeaway is to just start having those money conversations with your kids today. It doesn't have to be a formal lecture. It can be as simple as explaining why you're choosing to buy a used car instead of a new one, or why you're saving up for a family vacation.
That's great advice. Just start the conversation. Make it a part of everyday life. And remember, it's okay to not have all the answers. Learning about finances is a lifelong journey for both you and your kids.
Absolutely. Be open to learning alongside your children, and don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way. The most important thing is to create a safe and supportive environment where they feel comfortable asking questions and exploring their own financial journey.
So true. It's all about fostering a sense of curiosity and empowerment. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our first part of our deep dive into financial literacy for kids. We'll be back soon with even more insights and practical tips to help you raise financially savvy kids.
Looking forward to it.
So stay tuned.
It's all about making it relatable,
Awesome.
meeting them where they're at.
Okay, so we talked about kind of the building blocks, like,
Right, foundation.
yeah, value of money and budgeting and all that. But what about those, like, bigger picture ideas, like investing?
Oh, yeah. Well, investing is definitely something you can introduce to kids as they get older, and the source material actually talks about how to simplify it for them.
Okay, how so?
Well, instead of throwing around all those complicated financial terms, you can explain it in a way that makes sense to their world.
Right, like using analogies and stuff.
Exactly.
Okay,
For
yeah.
example, you could explain that buying a stock is like owning a tiny piece of a company.
Oh, I like that.
Like imagine owning a tiny slice of your favorite toy store or video game company.
Yeah, that makes it so much more concrete.
Right. And you can even talk about how the value of that piece can go up or down.
So they get the idea of risk and reward.
Exactly. And that's a key concept in investing.
Okay, so how do we actually, like, bring this to life for them?
Well, the source suggests involving kids in real-life financial decisions.
Oh.
Like when you're planning a family vacation, for instance.
Oh, I see.
You can involve them in setting a budget, researching different options, and making choices about how to spend the money.
That's a great idea.
It gives them a hands-on experience with financial planning.
And it makes it more meaningful to them because it's something they're actually excited about.
Absolutely. And, another fun way to teach kids about investing is through online games and apps.
Oh, yeah, there's some really cool ones out there.
There are. And these games can simulate real-world investing scenarios, allowing kids to practice making investment decisions without any actual risk.
So it's like a safe space for them to experiment and learn.
Exactly. And they can track their progress, see how their investments perform, and learn from their mistakes.
It's all about making it fun and engaging, right?
Absolutely. Because when kids enjoy something, they're more likely to stick with it.
That's so true.
And, another important aspect of financial literacy for kids is teaching them about giving back.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's about instilling values of generosity and social responsibility.
So how do we approach that?
Well, you can start by involving kids in charitable giving, like choosing a cause they care about and donating a portion of their allowance or earnings.
I love that.
It teaches them that money can be used to make a positive impact on the world.
And it helps them connect with something bigger than themselves.
Exactly. And, you can also encourage them to volunteer their time or skills to support causes they believe in.
Yeah, that's a great way to teach them about the value of giving back beyond just money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about fostering a sense of empathy and compassion.
So we've talked about investing, giving back. Is there anything else we should be thinking about when it comes to raising financially savvy kids?
Well, one thing that's often overlooked is the importance of teaching kids about financial safety and security,
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
especially in today's digital age.
Right, with all the online scams and identity theft and all that.
Exactly. So it's crucial to talk to your kids about online safety, protecting their personal information, and being cautious about sharing financial details online.
And I think it's also important to teach them about responsible credit card use.
Absolutely, credit cards can be a valuable tool when used responsibly. But it's essential for kids to understand the potential risks and consequences of using credit unwisely.
Like racking up debt and all that.
Exactly. So talking to them about interest rates, fees, and the importance of paying off their balances in full each month is crucial.
And also, teaching them to check their credit reports regularly.
Yes, that's a good habit to instill early on, so they can monitor their credit history and catch any errors or signs of identity theft.
So it's all about empowering them with knowledge and skills to make informed financial decisions.
Absolutely, because knowledge is power when it comes to finances.
And one last thing that I think is really important is to create an open and honest dialogue about money within your family.
That's so important. Kids are more likely to come to you with financial questions or concerns if they feel comfortable talking about money.
Right, it's about creating a safe space for those conversations.
Exactly. And, you don't have to have all the answers. It's okay to admit that you're still learning too.
Yeah.
What matters most is that you're open to discussing financial matters and creating a culture of financial literacy within your family.
It's about learning and growing together.
Absolutely.
It's funny because when I was growing up, money was like this taboo subject.
I know, right? It was like something you just didn't talk about.
Exactly. And I think that can actually do more harm than good.
Definitely.
Because it creates this sense of mystery and anxiety around money.
Right.
And it prevents kids from developing healthy financial habits.
So it's all about breaking down those barriers and making financial conversations a normal part of family life.
Exactly. And it's never too late to start.
Never too late.
Even if your kids are already teenagers, you can still have those conversations and help them develop, those essential financial skills.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing journey.
Right. And I think the most important thing is to approach it with a positive attitude and to make it fun and engaging for everyone involved.
I agree, because when you make it fun, it becomes less of a chore and more of an adventure.
Exactly. And that's what we want for our kids, right? An adventure filled with financial success and well-being.
Absolutely. Well said.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into financial literacy for kids, I'd like to leave our listeners with one key takeaway. It's never too early to start teaching your kids about money, and it's never too late to learn and grow alongside them.
Great advice.
We'll be back soon with the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore some even more practical tips and resources to help you raise financially savvy kids.
Looking forward to it.
So stay tuned.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into financial literacy for kids, and I feel like we've already covered so much. From the basics of, teaching them about money to the more advanced stuff like investing in credit cards.
It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, it really has. And I'm curious, is there anything else from that source material, Financial Literacy for Kids, building a foundation for a secure future, that you think is really important for our listeners to know?
One thing that really stood out to me was the idea of teaching kids about philanthropy.
Oh, philanthropy. So giving back to the community and stuff?
Exactly. It's about instilling a sense of social responsibility in them.
Yeah.
Teaching them that money isn't just about personal gain.
Right.
But also about making a positive impact on the world.
I love that. Yeah. Because it's like you're not just raising financially savvy kids, you're raising good humans.
Exactly. It's about raising well-rounded individuals who understand the importance of giving back.
And how do we actually, teach them about philanthropy?
Well, the source suggests starting small, like maybe having them donate a portion of their allowance to a charity they care about.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or you could even volunteer together as a family.
Yeah, that's a great way to bond and make a difference at the same time.
Absolutely. And as they get older, you can involve them in more meaningful discussions about social issues and how they can use their financial resources to support causes they believe in.
It's like, empowering them to be agents of change.
Exactly. It's about giving them the tools to make a difference in the world.
And I think that's a really powerful message.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into financial literacy for kids, what is one key takeaway that you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important takeaway is that financial literacy is a journey, not a destination. It's an ongoing process of learning, growing, and adapting to the ever-changing financial landscape.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's something that we can do together as a family.
Absolutely. And remember, it's never too early to start.
That's right. Even if your kids are still young, you can start laying the foundation for a lifetime of financial well-being.
And the source material we've been discussing today provides a wealth of information and resources to help you along the way.
Definitely. So be sure to check it out if you haven't already. And with that, I think it's time for us to say goodbye.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into financial literacy for kids.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep empowering your kids to build a brighter financial future.
See you next time.
Bye.